All right, hello everyone. I am doing this way more last second than I intended to, but I'm thankful for you guys all coming by, and I also want to thank my two guests today, Sam, also known as Radiant, and Eric, also known as Whiteblade, for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Um, I've gotten to play with you guys both a little bit, but I guess, do you guys want to do a tiny little introduction of yourselves while I get you to stall for time while I do other stuff?
Eric,
Get the
you go
first card
first
ready.
because you probably need a lot less of one than I do.
Former U.S. national champion now, and I'm so upset about that. Uh, I can't even. I gotta change my fucking Tinder profile. It's so stupid. Um, I'm I'm White Blade. You can call me Eric, either or. I'm a Canadian Netrunner player. I live on the west coast in Vancouver. I have played the entire time Netrunner's been around. Published a bunch of deck lists. Won a few tournaments. You know.
And
So, what about you?
I'm Sam/Radiant. I live in Seattle, which is really close to Vancouver. I'm one of the admins for the Seattle Netrunner Discord. Hosted a fair number of tournaments over the years. Started playing in like right before the game was quote unquote canceled. So it's been a couple years. Not quite as accomplished as Eric, but I do decently well. I usually get close to the cut in majors, but haven't quite broken in there yet.
That
I
that
played
sounds a lot
Sam
like
in
me,
person. I
but
played Sam in person yesterday, actually, in Seattle,
It was a great time.
and I won all 3 games. So,
That is true. One of them was close. I don't feel bad about it.
uh, you know, I still won.
all right. Well, I've figured out how to get at least one thing up on screen, though it's probably unreadable to the two of you. But I'm going to assume you guys know the card, um, which is the Anarch ID. Actually, maybe I should resize that just a bit more. Okay. Um, so this is Essa Avantov. I think I should have looked at that pronunciation guide before showing up. But this is the new Anarch ID from Midnight Sun. 4515 Cyborg. The first time each turn you suffer core damage, you may draw one card and sabotage two. And
Jeff,
sabotage
what does sabotage mean?
I feel like I should know the succinct way to explain this mechanic, but it's just a little more fiddly than I want it to be. But the idea is that with sabotage, the corp is going to trash the number of cards is after the sabotage 2. They can choose how they want to trash those 2 cards. They can be entirely from cards from HQ, which are their choice, or a combination of cards from HQ or R&D, and cards from R&D are obviously trashed from the top. You choose your cards, which of those you're going to trash before doing any of the trash actions. So you can't like trash the top card of R&D and then say, you know what, I'm going to now trash the card from my hand. You have to decide before you go into it. Um, so yeah, I guess I'm gonna we'll throw to Sam who has the what are your first thoughts on this card?
I'm not a huge Anarch player, and I didn't play during the days of like DLR or anything like that. So I know maybe some people are a little fearful, but I think it's pretty cool. I think the angle of sabotage that it does give the corp some counterplay and choice. Like it's still obviously a negative thing for the corp, but based on the cards in their hand, they can make different choices and play around that. And it also adds like a further mind game aspect where if you're just dumping everything from HQ, maybe signaling to the runner that you have no agendas in HQ or like your operations aren't that relevant, or if you're constantly milling off R&D, maybe you're flooded or you're trying to assemble some combo, or it goes constant layers deep, like you could be bluffing the bluff and so on. I'll let everyone else figure out how they want to do it, but I think it's a really cool keyword. And I think the draw card ability is a smart addition. It probably seems pretty minor because it seems unlikely that you would be taking 10 core damage or some extremely significant amount that would draw you a lot of cards. But it does keep you from going a further -1 on whatever you play or do to proc the core damage. So, playing, well, I won't mention that other new card that was spoiled yet. I don't know if we're going to talk about it later, but for example, if you played an amped up, you would lose a card from the core damage. This replaces it, so kind of makes it sting a little bit less. Last thing I want to shout out before I pass to Eric, and I'll never shut up about it, is yours truly suggested the winning keyword sabotage. So just want to
Fucking Christ.
it had
We made a
absolutely
permanent
nothing
mark
to
on
do
the
with
game.
designing it, but I'll hang my hat on that.
Yeah, there's a couple interesting things about ESSA. So ESSA is gender fluid, actually. It uses Zer as pronouns, which is spelled XI and XIR, which is really interesting to me. I think it's the first. I want to say it's the first like actually gender fluid character in Netrunner that's like been publicized that way. Z's also an eco-terrorist, which is sick. I love the flavor text on that card. It's super dope. Yeah, so it's like I played Netrunner when noise was a thing. This is kind of like noise, but it's so different. I mean, the thing about noise is noise was just like you can just like jam the viruses out and like keep pushing the mills. But this one, it's like, so sabotage is not linear, right? As like the third sabotage is not like one better than the second sabotage. It's actually progressively graded because in theory it's like sabotaging the top of like sabotage where they discard from the top of R&D is the best trigger because you're getting like if you can run archives, you're getting a random R&D access. If you keep just like if you're sabotaging, they just like discard a card from HQ. It may have been a card they were going to discard anyway, and they can like choose like, oh, okay, I'm going to put agendas there, or I'm not going to put agendas there. Like they have a lot more choice with like if you like you kind of really want to get the corporation to a point where they have like 1 or 2 cards in hand, and then like you sabotage a bunch, and it's like really really busted then. Because if you can get them to mill, if you can get like the corporation player to get to mill like top 3-4 cards of R&D, that's really good. So you actually end up, I think probably the play style will not be like noise where it's like, oh, you just like play a virus mill, like you're always getting value. But instead, it's going to be like, oh, we need to like find turns where you actually want to sabotage a lot. And so it's like, instead of like sabotaging like 1 every turn, you're like, okay, we're going to sabotage 4 this turn and like take 2 turns off and then like sabotage 4 and then like take 2 turns off and have these like bursts of sabotage. Instead of just being like, oh, we're gonna sabotage whatever.
Yeah, I think that sounds about right. It reminds me a bit of when you're like, if you're pressuring a server with void in it and you don't have a pull op or a light the fire or something down, being able to exert that hand pressure at times when it's inconvenient for them or when they don't necessarily like it would when it would be particularly bad to pay that as a cost. And you also want to stack enough sabotage triggers over the course of the game to push through like the standard amount of recursion that the corp is playing, typically 3 spin doctors or something else. So yeah, I think bunching it all together is smart. And I think you'd also probably, I don't think decks would benefit hugely from just like having like a minor sabotage trigger here and there throughout the game. I think you want to go pretty all in on it. But yeah, there the other cards we can discuss that further.
Yeah, do we want to jump to our console, or do we want to go in numerical order as we talk about things some more?
Well, do we want to talk about this core damage trigger for a second?
Yeah, sure.
Sure. What do you want to say about it?
So it's like, okay, think of if like so. Whenever I see a card like so, this is like something I think about whenever new cards come out, like any card game, is whenever I see a trigger like this, it's like, okay, what existing core damage cards actually exist?
Mm-hmm.
And there are not many. Like,
yeah,
there is literally, as of like this rotation, no cards in standard that, like, excluding like the fire, which is a Midnight Sun, there are no cards in standard that allow the runner to give themselves core damage.
Yeah, I remember looking at it, and it's all HB cards that give core damage, I think. in standard.
Yeah.
After this rotation.
Because like you used to have stuff like Skulljack, like because Skulljack and Brain Cage were in Sansan cycle.
Yep.
And because like the sub theme there was it's like really interesting because it's like the original time you saw runners be able to do core damage was in Sansan because the sub theme, one of the sub themes of Sansan was cybernetics, right? So you like Chrome Parlor and like stuff like that. Am I allowed to swear on your show? Like, wait, what?
Yes, yes. No.
Yes.
I mean, like, I prefer if you don't swear like a sailor, but like you can use your regular language.
Okay, thank you.
I'd
I don't want
say
to be
Stim Hack
sensitive.
might have been the original core damage card, but
For sure, but it's the core damage card. But it's like, oh, okay, so you have like, and like dealing core damage has always been like a very, like if you look at the Netrunner color pie, it's like deep in the bowels of the Anarch color pie because like they have cards like Stim Dealer, which is an Order in Chaos, and Amped Up, which is an Order in Chaos.
Yeah, those are both rotating for listeners who aren't aware. They'll rotate when these new cards come out.
Yeah, so it's like because all of Order and Chaos rotates. So I have to imagine that part of like there's this question of like is Esther gonna be good, or like how often is sabotaging? How often are you gonna be trigger this ID to sabotage? And I think a lot of the answers could depend on like how many cards do they put in a set that deal you core damage because there's like literally none in standard right now. So they all have to, every single card that deals you core damage, if they deal you core damage at all, is going to be in the set. Right?
Yeah. Actually, I remembered I can do things to show people instead of just hand waving at the screen. So this is all of the cards in standard. And apologies to the two of actually, you know what? Let's we'll do this for just a second. Yeah, it's like it's all Anarch cards, and technically like I just searched for brain damage, so I think some of these prevent, but like they're all
because Caldera prevents.
Yeah. So it's
so does BMI
and feedback filter. Yeah. So it's Stim Hack, Stim Dealer, Spinal Modem, Skulljack, Chrome Parlor, and Amped Up, and so those are all rotating here. There's a couple of interesting questions in chat, and I think actually, let me make sure I've got my scene set up correctly. So a question of like how many self-damage core cards you want to fire, and I think Marrow is the console here, which like I think helps at least inform that question, even if you're not like exactly sure, because the question was like how many self-core cards do you include, which I think is maybe a different question of how many times do you trigger it, because you have to assume that you're not going to get every single core damage card you get. But
so this is +2 hand size, really.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're gonna get +3, but you take a core damage. So now you're at 7.
Yeah. Oh, I should do the one good host thing and say this is S's console. It's the 2-cost Marrow. It's a cybernetic hardware. Gives +1 MU. You get +3 maximum hand size. When you install this hardware, suffer 1 core damage. Whenever the corpse scores an agenda, sabotage 1. Limit 1 console per player.
2 influence.
And 2 influence. Thank you. That's the other thing.
I'm not sure I'm gonna play this outside of Anarch.
I mean, hey, you know what? It is boom tech, right? So you could see
it.
It's
boom tech. It's boom tech. 7 hand size. That's unbeatable.
Unbeatable with boom.
Yeah, play this instead of Citadel to beat boom.
So it's the same effect.
Yeah, just gotta have to actually hold the 7 cards in your hand, but
yeah, and not play your console.
This is the second cybernetic console they've printed. Is Spinal Modem a cybernetic?
Oh, that's a great question.
I mean, this might be the first cybernetic console.
This
artwork is metal as fuck.
It is great.
I'm super down with it.
There's actually
Go ahead.
This is like a 3D cutaway, right? Like I actually spent a lot of time being like, "What's going on here?" This is sort of like an X-ray of Essa's body, I think, and Essa's rig is like in their fucking like their spine is just replaced by a fucking computer.
Yeah, I think they've just got, which is
and you
super.
Can see their identity is cyborg, so makes sense.
Yeah. And also like I don't this Ben Giletti art is absolutely killing it. Like
Oh
S's
yeah,
look is
we didn't
amazing.
talk about that at all.
I
But
think Essa's Illusion, and
Uh,
so uh it's like I think that is supposed to be like the ethnic background, so the illusion, and it's really cool to also see that sort of representation.
yeah.
this is a pretty surface level comment, but I think they look totally badass. Really like the pulling the hood up type thing is a little cliche, but I really think it works here. And I don't know. I think they look sick. I completely buy that they're an eco-insurrectionist.
Waiting
I,
is
and,
useless. The crisis is here. It's great flavor text.
Yeah.
oh, I missed
And
that flavor text. That's cool.
on Marrow, I personally I'm always a fan of when the consoles are not just like a computer sitting on a desk like 80% of them are. I think this is really cool. Just a huge fan of seeing Nisei be more creative with how consoles are presented.
Yeah. I want to shout out JPOC12 saying big hand size worth considering for deep dive shaper, and that would be the wildest deep text slot for deep dive shaper against like Grinder Polana or something. Though I guess that's not going to
Even
be a
though,
thing really.
yeah, and you're hurting yourself to do it. So what if you hit your own deep dive? I don't know about that.
This card's pretty insane in Essa, right? Like just like on like
Yeah.
so we pay 2, they sabotage 2,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and we draw a card.
Yeah, we lose a card, but then draw a card.
Cards go in, cards go out.
Yeah, so Simply
Yeah.
the
So
Onion says, I think this gets cannibalized by Keiko. I don't think it does in Essa. I think this card is doing enough in that list, especially because, like, people say, like, oh, yeah, I've won games on, like, 3, well, now core damage all the time, but, like, they're not easy wins if you're playing with all that
there's a
damage.
reason they're telling you about it.
Yeah, and like so I think like in the list in most of the ESA lists, my guess is that you'll see Marrow before you see Keiko. I don't think you see this console outside of ESA much, but
I mean,
So it's-
I guess the way I think about Marrow is Marrow basically just says you get 2 more ID triggers.
yeah. Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's
Which is
just
like
that's
pretty
like
good.
the
that's a big
sabotage
deal.
one is really minor, and it feels to me like not stapled on, but it feels like it gives the card that little bit of extra oomph to make it good in ESA. I
Yeah.
don't think you're ever going to be slotting this card for that trigger. It's only going to happen a couple times a game max. And I agree with you, Jeff, that I think probably almost all ESAs will play this. Or I'll say most ESAs will play this, and almost no one who isn't ESA will play this.
Yeah, I think it's like without the sabotage one, I think this console looks pretty dire. Because like
Yeah.
just +2 hand size and then like the ID trigger, like just +2 hand size is not nothing, but it would feel kind of rough to play that as the console. But the extra trigger, if you can remember it, which boy, is this going to be a console I forget to use every single game. Um, but you know,
Oh, notice.
Do you think
Notice.
this
It's
is
not a
actually
May ability. That's a game loss.
do you think this is
boy.
actually unplayable do you actually think this is unplayable outside of Essa?
Outside of like really specific matchup or tech situations, yeah, like why would you play this over Keiko?
I guess like
Because you're like we
you
could
want the
imagine
hand
like
size,
can we
I
talk,
guess.
can we bring up Chastushka?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, let's
well,
go to
I'll
that.
swap that over. All right, that should be up for the stream now.
Final card spoiled today.
It's a 3. That's a lie. First off,
We,
Uh,
uh,
okay.
it's
there's a
three
bunch of
cost,
cards spoiled today, but
3-cost Anarch run event. It's a sabotage. Run HQ. If successful, instead of breaching HQ, sabotage 4. And then that's 4 influence.
I mean, to me, this is a pretty obviously meant to take the place of Wanton Destruction, which is rotating.
it's
But I think it's a lot more interesting and a lot better.
It's
I don't know.
interesting because it didn't tie. It's the like. This card's interesting to me because you don't have to do anything with core damage to play this card and have it be good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, like you actually could think about putting this in just a reg anarch list and just going, oh, this is like a maker's eye, but I don't pay influence for it or something like that. Um,
Yeah.
so,
I mean, like
um,
getting hit with Justushka like turn one because you left HQ open against Anarch sucks pretty bad. I mean, it sucks pretty bad that they paid 3 credits for
yeah,
like a disruption event turn
I guess,
one, but
yeah,
like I could see it happening.
yeah,
And
they
I could
like
see
dirty
being upset
laundry
about
and then,
it.
yeah,
I
yeah, but, oh, go ahead, Eric.
I was gonna say like I just think it's like it's unclear to me that like why can't we play sabotage outside of ESA? Because
Oh,
it's like
I think sabotage is good outside of ESA. I don't know that ESA's console is good outside of
no,
ESA.
but ESA's console says sabotage 3 over 3 turns, which is not great. But I mean, like it just seems to me it's like
That's not an
um
unreasonable point.
if you're
I mean,
like it's you're too cost in scrounging for sabotage triggers, like why not?
you would definitely play this in ESA, but I think it will see some play outside of ESA too. Like maybe just as a
Marrow or
one of
Chatushka.
Justushka, not Marrow. I don't think Marrow's going to see any play outside of ESA.
But I'm saying Chatushka means you can play Marrow outside of ESA.
Hmm.
Oh,
I
wait.
was actually just thinking
I
about
see what
like
you're
the encore decks could probably do it as well, but
saying.
those are probably very dead. But
Are they alive now?
no, they're
um,
not. But one of the reasons they're not alive is because they need to hold an 8 card or they need to hold a 5 card combo in hand, which is very
yeah.
hard to do. Um,
They did lose Hyperdriver, are losing out of the Ashes, and this card is 4 influence. So I'm gonna say that's probably
oh,
not
sorry,
gonna happen.
I was thinking about Marrow, not this in
Oh,
particular.
gotcha.
But actually, one other fun thing about this is if you're worried about Grinder, this lets you get that successful run to turn off SFT without
Without
and
casting.
mill them without having to actually hit their snares. So
I think this card's a lot worse than Wanton Destruction. So.
I think it's
Really?
I think
Sorry, go
the
ahead.
upside it has is that it doesn't you don't have to spend your whole turn on it. The downside is that it gives the corp so much more flexibility to manage how bad it is for them. Like I think this is much closer to a Maker's Eye than a Wanton Destruction.
Do you have
I
Sorry, go ahead, Sam.
Oh yeah. I think the saving the clicks is pretty big in my opinion. Like it was thinking again of like playing this in the early game. Like for example, if I think you would play this situationally depending on the corpse hand. So rather than it just being a pure hand nuke, you would probably play it when they are on fewer cards in HQ and constrain their choices that way, and they'll end up having to mill from R&D, which could. I'm actually not sure where I stand on which one is better. I guess it depends, on the situation extremely heavily. But I think I would more, if I was playing against an Asa and they did like turn one Asa trigger
Oh no.
install, and then throw down 2 more assets, and they ended with 2 cards in HQ. Like, I think that's a slam dunk.
I just realized I sort of I mean, look, I love Asa and Essa looks
Yeah,
pretty cool, but if I do a lot of casting of Essa
yeah,
versus Asa matchups, it's gonna be oh boy, a bit of a
yeah.
headache.
Okay, I've always said it pronounced as Asa.
Yeah,
So
that's
I looked this up. It's actually Asha, and I forget what it means. It's in.
oh interesting.
I also forget what language, but I don't say it that way, even though I've learned this fact, and no one else I know does either. But yeah, fun fact.
Do you have Running Hot queued up?
I do. I've got all the Anarch spoilers queued up, including Light the Fire, but and I can grab the other ones in a moment.
Wait, Eric, is running hot why you called me a liar? Because this was spoiled yesterday.
No, because an NBN card got spoiled today.
Oh, shit, really? Okay,
Yep.
sorry, I'll catch up on that.
Okay.
uh,
I'm glad you did. Sam, did you do the
Wait, which
homework
card?
required for this cast?
Oh, yeah.
Did you
Hold
read
on,
you read the entire SF flavor piece?
I'm finishing it right now. What was the NBN card that was spoiled, by the way?
You had to read the
Just
entire
in,
SF flavor piece, and then you get your
I'll pull it
dessert.
oh
up in
my
a
fuck! Just tell me the name of the card. I know what it is.
artificial crypto crash.
Oh, nice.
Okay, Running Hot. It's a one
Yeah.
cost Anarch event, as additional cost to place event. So for core damage, gain 3 clicks, 3 influence. We can change the world if we're willing to be changed in return.
So this is amped up, but it's a cost.
Whoops.
That's pretty much the only difference.
Legally distinct.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Oh, we're
I
going
just
to crypto.
screwed. Nope. I just messed up the stuff on stream. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about a thing. Okay. Anyway, yes. Sorry.
Yeah.
Amped up.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's amped up. Pretty much a reprint, which I'm fine with. I think it's a cool card, and it's now a lot cooler that we have Essa and Marrow and Sabotage. I less than talking about the functionality because this is basically a card that we've had for years. I think the art is awesome, and I don't want every single card to be like incredibly dark and gritty or drug-addled or depressing, but I love when they come through sometimes, especially after, like, in Ashes we had the companions and things, and there were some people saying like, oh, is Nisa going soft? I think this and Marrow also are some pretty metal art that don't shy away from things.
I will say, I guess I don't like. I think that's fine. The original art on Amped Up is just such an iconic card.
Amped Up has, I think, one of the best. Yeah, let me go pull it up. It's one of my favorite arts in the whole.
Sick
it's
artwork,
actually
and then the flavor
it's
text
such
is
a
also
good
just fire.
art. Yeah. Oh shoot, I'm moving the wrong thing. I'm gonna just quickly put all three of these cards up because they're all S's cards, and like Shtushka is like a Sabotage deck card, which like might be Essa, but may also be somebody else. But I think
the difference mechanics between Amped and Running Hot, well, at least in terms of how they get review, is like, so no one played Amped Up.
Yeah.
Right. Except for combo decks. Like,
yeah.
And Essa's gonna play this for value.
Yeah.
I think you play this for value straight up because this is basically
for sure.
This card really says Sabotage 2, draw a card.
And gain clicks.
And gain your clicks back. Yes.
Like I think you could play this in Essa and then literally just click for credits if you needed to, and it would still be good.
Yeah.
It's not the best.
It's probably not the best
I'm
move,
just saying that.
But like, yeah, click for 2. Like, if you do it, that you're going up 2 credits, cycling a card, and resist sabotaging 2, which is like, probably not the best card in your list, but like, okay. So,
I think there's also this really interesting idea of like, okay, so like in theory, Sabotage is better the more of it you do on a single turn, right? And Running Hot just like helps you ascend to heaven. Like, you just are like, okay, I'm gonna play like 3 Chashushkas, and then I'm gonna fucking like suplex you into the next dimension with 12 Sabotage or something. Like, that's good.
Yeah.
No, I definitely think it's good.
Yeah, if you can play a Running Hot and then like play two Chashushkas in one turn, you're in for a really nice spot. So, and also I think Shadow Electric calling out that this Running Hot pose is a callback to the OG Stimhack art.
Oh yeah,
which I still have not gotten over Stimhack rotating.
Yeah. Apparently neither has the art director. So
neither has the art director. Oh, it is. It totally is a callback to the original.
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna pull up I'll pull it up so that people on stream can see it, rather than making them pull up a separate tab and leave my stream for good when they realize they can get all these insights from by just bugging the two of you.
Yeah.
So let me
just DM us. We can cut Jeff out.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, I at some point, doesn't have to be right now, I want to mention the Chastishka flavor text, which I thought was, I don't know,
yes.
It's cute, funny, it's something. I like it.
Hold on, let me go and this is gonna take. This is gonna be ugly stream. Sorry for 1 second. Chatushka is in the alphabet first. Yeah, it's not that like a super direct, but it's a very inspired by pose.
He's got his fingers dipped in the whatever that is.
Yeah, there we go.
Stims. Oh my god, it's totally. I didn't even know. I have never noticed that. It's like totally.
Yeah. Great shout out to, I forget who said that, but
Yeah, Shadow Electric. Thanks for that call. I see Ian shouting Jeff at me. I can't wait to find out what that was about. Um,
I like the flavor text on Running Hot actually a lot.
oh yeah,
Flavor text is good. I gotta say, not historically, a proud Nisei flavor text critic. We still remember the hat, but pretty good flavor text. Pretty good flavor text so far.
I
It's like-
yeah, I think I saw someone like I think changed in return feels a little bit passive, but like that's like the quibblest of quibble on that. I think. Oh, okay. We'll pull up Chishtushka so that we can also throw a hat over to the other.
I think it's not passive because it's the runner is changing the world and then the world is changing the runner. So it's the world actively changing them. But yeah, whatever. Same idea. Yeah, so the flavor text here is just a little poem.
Can you read the poem for us, please? In like a sing-song kind of way.
No.
Why not? Come on!
I was happy with the first half of that request. People do not want that. We're all like down here. Androids are friends we salute. Give us all a fucking break. Old Jack is the shit on my boot.
Do you think that the word they're trying to put in there is fucking?
I just filled it in with my own artistic interpretation. It could be friending, fiending, and Old Jack probably, I assume, referring to Jack Wayland.
All right, and we will do the last spoiled card, which is Artificial Crypto Crash, an NBN 4/2. We've seen only Vladisbursk grid so far from NBN, but this just says agenda initiative. When you score this agenda, the runner loses 7 credits. Flavor text: the line goes up until we don't need it to anymore.
I can't believe Nisei would besmirch cryptocurrency's good name.
Yeah.
I
little
don't
shout out to
know
Fisk.
how competitive. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was nothing. I was doing an art shout out to Fisk.
Oh yeah, that's an excellent touch. Fisk obviously never saw any play, although the Crim event did. But I don't know. I think it's a nifty throwback. And one I'm kind of surprised Nisei made, given that he's an FFG character. But I guess it doesn't say his name anywhere. Plausible deniability. I don't know how competitive this card is as a glance because, for example, I would think you'd want to play this in like CTM or something, but I also don't think this fits in the CTM agenda suite. However, I will say that it's super mean. It's also incredibly mean with the Mani Sanai, and I love it for that. And also the flavor text, once again, I think it's pretty great.
Yeah, I think it's like maybe if there's like like the big thing to me is like I think you could play this in CTM as like a 4/2 that you want to score, but like you don't have G's anymore.
What are you cutting for it though?
So you have to now be like running seamlesses, which maybe is what CTM's gonna do post rotation, but
they are losing bankers, so that's some more influence freed up.
Yeah,
what a positive way to think about it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. It's CTM. Do we need to like be optimistic about it?
That's like being like, oh, you just got fired from your job. Think of all the opportunities you now have.
Dude, I'm on leave right now. It's amazing.
I also want. Oh, no, go ahead, Eric.
Did you see the little spoiler image I sent you in Discord, Jeff? Because that was posted in Slack today.
Yeah, I want. So yeah, I can put this on. Unless, do you have anything else you want to say about this card?
I mean, I think this card's lit as fuck. It's just like you're gonna roll up and you're gonna fuck somebody up with this card, right? You're gonna be like
your professional analysis.
It's just like it's so sick. It's so sick. Like, wait, I have a question about this card. If the runner has 5 credits,
they lose all 5. Yeah,
it's
it's not an if able. Like economic warfare, for those who don't know, if they don't have at least 4 credits, they can't lose any credits because it says if able. But this says lose 7, and reversed accounts also just says the runner loses however many. They can lose any number of credits, even if it's less than that.
In Netrunner, fun is a zero-sum game. So when the runner has less fun, the corp has like you gain the fun from them. So, this is busted.
Yeah, Eric, quick aside, do you know that in one of the first tournaments I went to, I got second at Portland Regionals, and it was a 419 deck, and I published it under "Fun is the Zero Sum Game."
Oh yeah,
was the name of the
let's
deck.
go.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this agenda is fine. It's not great because it's a 2-4 that does nothing until you score it. That's a tough sell.
But it's lit.
But it is lit. I think, honestly, the place it probably has the best chance of working is in some mid-range NBN deck, probably with Bologna, Hard Hitting News, and some sort of kill plan.
Some Asmari Rushy type thing.
Yeah, it's the interesting.
Rush,
yeah.
I actually think it's like interesting. I think it actually might be. There's a big question. I think of like, is this better than Beal in Asmari midrange? I know that sounds really dumb, but it's like
it doesn't sound that dumb.
The Beals do nothing. The Beals are just do nothing for you when you score them, and I think like playing a 2-4 in a deck that didn't want to score those Beals anyway is actually not that big a cost because most of the time you're pushing the Beals are in spots where like the credit differential is too high anyway, and you have the window for it. So I think actually this card might get like this is a powerful effect.
This is a card that I'm going to be so salty about. I'm like, oh, I can let them score that 4-2. Like I'll be able to like just set up to start contesting their board after this, and then like get hit with like a Mani Sanai artificial crypto crash and just like put my head in my hands and like sweep up my cards and say GG.
Like the woman in the art there.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe that's what happened to her. But the question I would pose to that, Eric, is a reverse off-world office better than an off-world office in that deck?
Yeah. Because think about it like this. Okay, so the amount of money, you can be at 20 credits, but the amount of money it costs to break your ice is static.
You know right, I mean? But it does let you play bigger ice if you play agendas that.
Sure, but the difference is but I think the decks that want to score off-world office are depending on that inflow of Clash to pay a higher cost curve, and I think Artificial Crypto Crash sits in this space of like we don't score it in some matchups even at all. It's just like an agenda we put in a deck, and then like when we really find some tempo to do it, it fucks the runner up.
Yeah,
I think the problem with off-world office, if you're warping your deck around your econ in the sense of like off-world office, that means you're actually like leaning into scoring, and you don't want to lean into scores as mine.
All right, that's fair. I guess I was thinking from the angle that like the floor on this is lower because the runner can lose less than 7, but you're always going to gain 7 off-world office. Or if the runner, like last turn installed a liberated, like clicked it once, this kind of not all that useful. I mean, they're still going to lose money, but
I think also this sets you up to push below to the next turn.
Yeah, that's a good point as well.
Yeah, it does. It does create a scoring window in a way that Off-World doesn't, which is it's
cool agenda.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
So Eric, I was not going to mention this because you and I and Sam, for that matter, know where this is going, so we can only have so much of a discussion about this. I'll
lie. I'll play dumb with the audience. I'm not above that.
But what we do have is Sam RS's North American Championship 2018 card, which is all we know is it's a 5 influence HB card that has this text that says remove this operation from the game, a trash cost of 3 and number 39.
It's also an operation logically, unless it's a dual typed card.
Yes. Well, hey, maybe that's HB's mechanic. They get dual typed cards.
I don't know. I'm just saying it's remove this operation from the game.
No,
it's probably an operation.
No spoilers. This card is lit as fuck. I can't wait till everyone can see it.
I think it's cool. This is cool. I guess he's gonna like spoil more of the card.
Yeah, it has strong game changer vibes based on this text and trash cost. And chat is also calling me out for saying 39 when it should be 38 because I can read numbers.
Wait, that changes my analysis. I don't think it's cool anymore. I mean, anything that's spoiled. First of all, I think this is a really cool way to spoil a card. Like, The I really like the sticker approach that Nisei did with pinhole threading, where you could see like some of the words, but seeing 5 influence and remove this operation from the game is just, I mean, it sends your mind racing about what kind of crazy powerful effect this would be. Because typically, also the operations that have trash costs are there to counterbalance the fact that it's a really powerful effect, like violet level clearance and boom,
Yeah.
for example, really a game changer as well. So the fact that this is 5 influence and trashable and RFGs itself, you can bet it's probably going to be a really strong effect.
I also want to shout out Anarcho saying this image is the nightmare of every UK Netrunner player.
Yeah, I honestly, this is like the thing about spoiler season is I just need like, like Big Brother, how they have like the 24-hour, like for the TV show they do like the 24-hour cameras or whatever.
Yeah.
Or wait, are you talking about 1984? Or are you talking about a TV show?
There's
Well,
no
the TV show, the TV show
yeah.
Big Brother.
So someone
Oh,
read someone
I'll just sit
read
out of
the,
this one. It's fine.
yeah, someone read that book and said, you know what? Let's make this a British reality TV show.
It's an American TV show.
Is it? Oh, I thought it was British, but my bad.
I want during spoiler season, I just want to have Chris Dyer's house. You, Podrick, you motherfucker! It is an American TV show.
I'm not reading chat at all.
Anyway, I thought it was British because I first was introduced to it, I think, on Doctor Who, because there was
This says it's British first, then franchised.
I just want to have Chris Dyer's house Big Brother-ified, so like we can live react to him reading all the new cards. I just obsessively was checking Slack today to see what Chris Dyer had to say about Sabotage.
What did he
You
say?
don't want to It's like you don't want to disappoint your dad. You know what I mean?
Wait, who? He's your dad?
He's Netrunner's dad.
Oh.
Dan's the uncle who like gave you your first beer.
Someone in chat
says Eric quote.
Someone in chat
Chris Dyer
asked,
Cam 4.
asked how many trash cost operations there have ever been. There have been 11, I believe. Actually, unless there was one that had a trash cost of 0, but I don't think
my
there
favorite
was.
meme
has a trash cost of 0.
Oh, it does.
My favorite meme.
Sorry, Eric. Good.
My favorite meme for this card was someone in GLC was like, Sam Sweet's just reprinting Game Changer with 1 trash cost high. I was like, yeah, that's sick.
Oh no. How do I say I want you know what? Let's just do like less than 10. That'll probably work. There we go.
Well, except for that one card.
Yeah, except for that one trash cost operation that has a cost of 12. Yeah. Like,
so 2 of these cards banned, incredibly good. Game Changer and Violet level clearance.
Oh yeah.
And then
so
2 others have seen a ton of competitive play.
Okay, so I'm assuming then that this card's just going to get banned because it's a trash cost operation in HB that isn't a lockdown. Presumably. Maybe it is a lockdown.
Oh, the coming card, yeah.
Yes, this coming card. Yeah.
I forgot all the lockdowns are trashable.
Yeah, I did too. I have not seen a lot of the lockdowns, but all right. Well, I think that's all of the spoilers for today. I want to thank both of you for coming on by. Do you have any final things you want to say before we fully wrap it up?
I'm excited to. Shoutnet's doing spoilers on Friday. We got 4 Wayland cards.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'll probably harass you to come on the daily cast that day. Jeff.
Okay.
Thank you for doing this again, by the way.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man.
I enjoyed it a lot last time. There were spoilers, and Ed was unfortunately otherwise occupied. So
yeah, he's probably cooking something.
Presumably,
he's in the chat, isn't he?
He is in the chat, so maybe he just lied to me. But
Ed was super busy in the castle.
This year. Well, Ed, if you want to swing by one night, Eric was supposed to be on tomorrow, so that slot's open. And actually, that I'll extend that offer to the whole chat. If you want to swing by and talk to me about spoilers tomorrow, hit me up. So, oh yeah, Ed, this weekend. Oh yeah, I will have some spoiler stuff coming out on Saturday, so I may not do a stream of it because I will have literally basically done a video that's a stream of my thoughts on the cards, and then do an evening video of a stream of my thoughts on the cards. So I'm going to play that one by ear.
What factions did you get?
I got NBN, so we'll see some more Crypto Crash support, I think.
Nice. Is the theme for NBN and Midnight Sun the joys of cryptocurrency?
It's got to be, right? I mean, based on all the information we have now, it's got to be. So
that'd be so upsetting. The heel turn is this is like, okay, NBN's crypto themed, and to celebrate, we're doing NFTs of the NBN cards artwork.
That's the worst idea I've ever heard in my life. Also, shout out to Eric yesterday for pointing out to me that Freedom Kumalo's subtitle is Crypto Anarchists, and I just can't stop giggling about it now. Can't take him seriously anymore.
He was a crypto anarchist before, like when cryptocurrency wasn't even a thing, really.
That's not true. Cryptocurrency has been around for like at least a decade.
Yeah, over a decade at this point. It was like a 2008 kind of thing.
I see. Okay. Well, see y'all around.
Thanks for having us, Jeff.
Thanks to everyone for coming on, and I'll see you around.